graduation process, and I wish you all much success in your next endeavor. Please join me now in grasping the black and gold tassel in your right hand and transferring it to the left side of your campus. In the words of Elwoods, we did it!
Not this again. Please be seated. Good evening. I'm Naveed, Haque, Secretary of Class of 2013. I was told to make this speech funny, but knowing that Josh and Jose are here, I'll probably just get booed off stage. But I'll just continue as planned. I'd like to thank, on behalf of the class of 2013, all the Pleasant Grove faculty, staff, and all the parents that have collectively raised us for the past 13 years. I'd like to thank the classes preceding us to giving us something to look up to, and the classes following us, hopefully looking up to us, and giving us a reason to be great. And finally, I personally like to thank each and every one of you sitting before me for allowing me to serve you as senior class secretary. We've had some great times, and some other times. Pleasant Grove has been my second home, and growing with you guys has been the greatest honor anyone could ask for. It's always on days like this, in the aftermath of ceremony, of heartfelt goodbyes, of new promises, of old hopes, that the fragility of the human experience really sinks in for me. Against the uncaring universe, we attempt to carve out a space and take a stand, but the communities we make and the connections we forge are always so tenuous, forever at the mercy of circumstance. But it is the fight to keep them alive, to make a small place for us and for others, that makes it all, every bit of it, worthwhile. To everybody I've known in any capacity, whether I meet you in passing or hang out with you often, thank you for being here. While often it's hard to convey this gratitude in person, I'm glad I can get it out somehow, even if it is in the form of an overly sentimental speech, because I really, truly appreciate it. From when we were little, we were always told that in the future we can be anything we want to be. That in the future we can have anything we want. That in the future we can change the world. However, throughout these years in our secondary education, it seemed that we haven't gained any sort of knowledge to assist us to those goals. That is far from the truth. Throughout these 13 dreary years, we have acquired the ability to use Google to do our homework and Sparkments to do our reading. The future is now. Seize it. One thing I want to stress. I've gone through many ups and downs, and you only have one perspective for your own life. But I suspect many of you are going to have higher ups than I've had, and many are going to have lower downs. I worry about that sometimes. The ones of you that have higher ups, just keep them in perspective. It's inevitable some of you are going to race ahead and be so successful that none of us can imagine it right now. Keep them in perspective. Enjoy the successes, but when your ego starts feeling a little bit large, keep in mind that the sun will supernova one day, galaxies will collide. Keep them in perspective. We're seas of small little mammals on a small planet. There's 100 to 200 billion stars in just our galaxy alone. Just peace, just have peace and a little success. And when you have a hard time, and you will, and those are both painful periods, and you might stumble at the start, your first few times out the gate, also keep them in perspective. Those stresses, put them in perspective of the universe. They're small. They're going to be things that you'll be able to laugh about, talk about. And then 15 years from now, or hopefully 10 to 15 days from then. And so to bring it all together, I want to give you a little thought experiment that I actually use for myself all the time when faced with the tough decisions on what I think about how to approach my life. Imagine yourself 50 years in the future. You're in your early 70s, and you're hanging out at home. You've just watched the State of the Union hologram by President Bieber. And right after that, you start reflecting on your life. You first think about all the successes you've had. You've had a very good career. You were able to provide for your family. You had amazing friendships. And I'll tell you, I can guarantee you, 50 years from now, you will keep reflecting about the friendships that you made. You will keep thinking about this campus and reflect on it and smile about it. You'll think about your children. You'll think about the bonds you've made, the contributions you made to the world. You also think about things that you wish you'd done just a little bit better. Call them regrets if you want. I have a sense of what those regrets might be. They'll be like, I did all right, but I wish that I had spent more time with my children. I wish that I told my spouse that I loved them more. I wish that I spread more positivity, empowered more people, validated more people, and smiled more often, and laughed more often. I wish that I had a chance to spend more time and hug and tell my parents how much I love them before they passed. Right when you start having these regrets, a genie pops and says, "You seem like a good person. You've done a lot in your life, but I've been eavesdropping on your regrets, and they seem like valid ones. So I'm going to give you a second chance." And you say, "Well, sure." So the genie snaps his fingers and brings you back right over here. First Baptist Church, 2013. He says, "This is your second chance. You can do all the successes that you had the first pass, all the career successes, the life successes, but this is your chance to optimize. This is your chance to laugh a little bit more, your chance to spread a little bit more positivity, your chance to really tell the people who matter to you how much you love them before it's too late." Here I am, truly honored and humbled to be here, just completely excited by what you all are going to do in your second pass. Thank you. Please remain standing.